Hello, everyone. You are getting a bonus video today. Today, we are talking about SNAP benefits and the proposal by the Trump administration to ban certain foods from being purchased with SNAP benefits. Now, if you aren't aware, SNAP benefits are essentially food stamps where you can purchase, it's a debit card, and you can basically just purchase food with it at the grocery store. People have autonomy right now to buy whatever they want with that money. So if they want to spend it on chips and soda and ice cream, they're allowed to do that. If um, if they don't want to, they don't have to. Now, we as children were on WIC, which I remember specifically, and WIC has, at least when I was growing up, was very specific. Like you had to buy certain things with your WIC money or WIC benefits. So there is currently a program where there are restrictions, but that's only for women, like pregnant women, women of infants, and women of young children. So those benefits would run out once your children are older or you stop getting pregnant. So it, in a way, sometimes it does incentivize people to stay pregnant because they get those extra benefits that they would not get from SNAP. So you can get like SNAP and WIC benefits at the same time. So essentially food stamps and WIC at the same time. So what's the controversy with Trump and Adam Housley, who's Tamira Housley's husband? So what they are proposing at this moment, Robert Kennedy Jr., who is the new Health and Human Services Secretary, are proposing that we cut some of the SNAP benefits and prevent people from buying soda and processed foods with those benefits. Now, this proposal also includes school lunches, which I will have to make an entire different video about because is actually an abomination. Like school lunches are so bad. And actually, Michelle Obama tried to change the food. A lot of people don't know this, but she actually was on the right path. She was like, we need vegetables. And they were like, no, 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 no. Mm-mm-mm-mm. You're messing us up right here. So she actually, Michelle Obama, bless her heart, really tried to get healthy food in schools and they shut her down and told her, okay, nope, you got to go in this direction. You got to go in the exercise direction. You can't go into the food space because we know that, people have to make their money. So Michelle Obama tried dearly. And this is why, like, to this day, will forever believe that the Obamas were like, they were spared in a lot of ways. I feel like they weren't in the corruption as much as other people. I think they genuinely wanted to do well. And they realized very quickly that this was not what they thought it was. So there is some a history with Michelle Obama and trying to change school lunches, which is also wrapped up in this policy. But let's read. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you guys can see this article and we'll read it together. Share screen. Okay, Trump officials want to ban junk food from SNAP, but past efforts show it's not easy. I would imagine it's already difficult enough to get, like, with WIC benefits. You guys, it was like 20 years ago at this point, maybe even more. If I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, the cashiers had to be like, oh, you can only use this for this milk, or this for this formula, or this for this cereal. And it was like regulated by the cashiers, not necessarily the system. Maybe, meaning the cashiering system, right? The register. I don't know if that's changed by now because I'm not obviously not on that right now. But to me, that would be super uncomfortable to tell a mother like, "Oh, you can't buy this." It just doesn't. It makes the job of someone at the register a little bit more than what they're paid for. That's above their pay grade. So I do think it's a challenge to try and get people to do that. I also have a huge problem with autonomy, and I think as much as I hate it, you guys, I'm a health and fitness coach. Like, I think everybody should be eating fruits and vegetables and protein. I don't know how I feel about telling people what they have to spend their money on. I understand from a financial standpoint that it actually impacts our system much further, because number one, kids who are eating a bunch of processed food do not do well in school. They cannot focus, they're not getting enough nutrients, they're not developing well. And then the adults who do this, they're a burden to our system, they're a burden to our medical system, because they end up having massive medical debt and disease that we have to pay for as taxpayers. So, but part of me is really concerned about telling people what they can and cannot do with money. Now, historically, our government has said, here's some funding and you have to spend it on this. We have done that before. So this is not new in terms of the government saying, hey, you know, this is the money that we're giving and you have to spend it. It's just, you know, it's not new. So let's continue to actually, I never made sure that I'm actually live. So let me double check. Let me double check that I'm actually live. Oh, good. Okay. All right. A push to ban sugary drinks, candy, and more from the US program that helps low income families pay for nutritious food has been tried before, but it may get a boost from the new Trump administration officials. Robert Kennedy Jr., the newly confirmed Health and Services Secretary, and Brooke Rollins, the new Agriculture Secretary, have both signaled that they favor stripping such treats from SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Kennedy has been most vocal, calling for the government to stop allowing the nearly $113 billion program that serves about 42 million Americans to use benefits to pay for soda or processed foods. So they're not cutting it completely. They're not, this is why I can't do headlines, like, because they're not cutting it completely. They're saying you can't use, the benefits for soda or processed foods. And again, as I've said before, I don't know how I feel about the government telling you how you need to spend your money. But we have done this before. We have told people that if we give you funding, like schools, if we give you funding, you have to use it for this, or you can't use it for that. So there have been stipulations that come with money before from the government, but for some reason, this is very personal. And even though I want people to make healthy decisions, I don't know that forcing them is the best way to go. The one place that I would say that we need to really change policy is the SNAP food program, a SNAP program and food stamps and in school lunches, Kennedy told Fox News host Laura Ingraham last week. There, the federal government in many cases is paying for it, and we shouldn't be subsidizing people to eat poison. Now, school lunches, I 100% agree with. If we're going to pay for school lunches, I will gladly spend lots and lots of money on healthy food. Lots. I will gladly spend hundreds of thousands of my own tax dollars to support healthy food in schools. I have no problem spending my money for that, but I do have a problem using it on garbage that the students are eating. And if you guys have had school food lately, it is absolute trash. When a taxpayer is putting money into SNAP, are they okay with us using their tax dollars to feed really bad food and sugary drinks to children who perhaps need something more nutritious? Rollins said. These are all massive questions we're going to be asking and working on in the next coming months and years. So this is a good question. What I would say is if you're going to cut funding, take some of that funding and use it. Like, if you want SNAP benefits, you have to complete a nutrition training program. That's totally fine. To me, I think we are told why you need to eat fruits and vegetables, why you need to get enough protein, where to buy that stuff, how to use your SNAP benefits for that. Like, someone needs to create a program. Hi, I will do that. I would love to do that, to create a training video that you have to watch and you have to print out a certificate from, that will allow you to start getting your SNAP benefits. So that, because I think part of the problem is too that people are not educated. This is a fact. I'm not one of those people who's like blind to the fact that people don't know the negative effects of your child constantly eating red number 40 and carbohydrates and sugar and no protein. Like, people don't know. They don't. And so even if we, instead of being like, nobody can ever have SNAP benefits, and it's like, how about there's a required training program. And maybe you have to watch it every year that you get SNAP benefits. And if you don't, then you don't get the money. And I know, but it forces people to, at least, even if they're like clicking through it, they're forced to hear the truth about the food. But removing certain foods from SNAP, known for years as food stamps, isn't as simple as it sounds. The program is run by the USDA, not HHS, and is administered through individual states. It is authorized by the the Federal Food and Nutrition Act of 2008, which says SNAP benefits can be used for any food or product intended for human consumption, except alcohol, tobacco, and hot foods, including those prepared for immediate consumption. Excluding any foods would require Congress to change the law or states to get waivers that would let them restrict purchases. Over the past 20 years, lawmakers in several states have proposed stopping SNAP from paying for bottled water, soda, chips, ice cream, decorated cakes, and luxury meats like steak. First of all, why wouldn't you be able to buy steak? Like, that's such a high quality protein. That's dumb. And bottled water? Are we serious? None of these requests have ever been approved under Republican or Democrat presidents. In the past, Agriculture Department officials rejected the waivers, saying in a 2000 paper that no clear standards exist to define foods as good or bad or healthy or not healthy. There's ways around this. In my opinion, again, if you're going to do this, I don't know that this is the best way to get people to buy healthy food, but there's definitely a way. I mean, if it has no nutrients, like if it doesn't have like 25% of, you know, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, like you can't buy it. Like that's just period. Foods that are healthy are automatically foods that are grown directly from the ground. Foods that you pick that are in the produce section, like on the perimeters of the store. That's automatically healthy food. So I don't know why we're acting like that's not the case. Like everything on the outside of the store is, you know, there's ways to incentivize healthy eating. Anti-hunger advocates point that research shows that SNAP recipients are no more likely than other low-income Americans to buy sugary drinks or snack foods, and they say that limiting food choices undermines the autonomy and dignity of people who receive, on average, about $187 a month or $6 a day. This is just another way to cut benefits, said Gina Platanino, a deputy food director at the Food Research and Action Center. How do we restrict people more? How do we stigmatize them more? I have to agree with her. I don't know that this is a good move. If someone wants to buy junk food on their own dime, that's up to them, he says. But what we're saying is don't ask the taxpayer to pay for it and also expect the taxpayer to pick up for the tab of the resulting health consequences. Yeah, we do that though for people who are not on food stamps too. Do you know what I mean? So you can't be like, oh, we're taking on this extra tax. No, we do it for everyone. We take on the extra tax of people who are not on food stamps as well. Um, For me, SNAP is to be used towards healthy food to get people to avoid all the disease they have. This is a 66-year-old woman, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, that's the point of that. So this is the whole ban that they're talking about. Now, you're like, how does Adam Housley come into this? Let's talk about it. So Adam Housley is Tamara's husband. And after this article came out and this news came out, he said this. Let me make sure I get that shared with you guys. I want you guys to read this, and then I'm going to talk about why people are telling us that he's racist. I'm sorry that I have to show this way because I got to restart my computer so I can share this the right way. Okay, I think y'all can see that. Let me see if I can put this in slideshow. There we go. So Adam Housley, in response, says this: "As a kid who grew up in neighborhood grocery stores since I was 5, I can't tell you how many times I saw people come in and buy crap food for their kids with food stamps, then open the wallet and use cash for liquor, beer, wine, and cigarettes. Then there were those who would repeatedly buy a lemon or lime, get the change, walk out the door, throw them away, and do it again until they had enough change to buy alcohol or cigarettes. As a kid, it pissed me off because there are some people who could really use the help, and then there are these working the system. So people, okay, number one, this is no longer possible because the EBT cards are EBT cards. There's not cash. So back in the day, food stamps were actual paper. So you could actually give it and then you get change back. Which is crazy because you didn't get food stamps back. You got change back. You got actual money back. And now you use a card. So that's kind of irrelevant, but I guess I see where he's going. And then he was like, "It pissed me off as a kid." I'm like, "You were a kid. I don't know if you're upset about that." So people are calling him racist. And I'm like, "Wait, okay." So then I had the backwards math because I'm like, "Why are they racist?" Because we have this fundamental underlying belief that the only people on welfare are Black. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna share something with you guys. Okay, by race. Okay, 44% of SNAP recipients um, were white. Okay, 27% were Black, and 21% were Hispanic. Okay, these are people on food stamps right now. The majority of people on welfare right now is not Black people. So this is why people are upset because they're thinking, "Oh my gosh, he's talking about Black people." And it's like, we have got to stop putting our faces on things that are not ours. Now, we do this ironically because the media tells us that this is who this is affecting disproportionately. But the reality is that most of the people on welfare are not Black. Most of the people on food stamps are not Black. So we can't, they're calling him racist because he like somewhat seems to be agreeing with Donald Trump. And I think anytime you agree with anything that man says, that people call you racist. But I don't understand how this makes him racist unless you inherently believe that Black people are mostly recipients of welfare, which is actually not even statistically true. But if you internalize that belief, then yes, I could see how you think he's automatically racist because he's automatically talking about uh, white people. Now, he grew up in Napa Valley, and a lot of people are like, Napa Valley's white. Nobody was using. You guys forget that there are like farm workers in Napa Valley. Okay. A lot of times these farm workers are not white and they're not Black either. So he's definitely not talking about Black people there. He's not. He's not. So people are running around saying, "Oh my gosh, he's so racist because he wants Black people to not have autonomy." And it's like, well, first of all, Black people are not the only people on food stamps, and Black people are not even the majority of people on food stamps. And in his story, he's not even talking about Black people because in Yountville, there's not that. Right? You're not getting that many. You're not even getting like a speck. But we personally believe that most Black people are on welfare, and that anytime there's a ban on something like a DEI or a welfare, we like internalize it and fight for it as if it's ours, and we contribute to this stereotype that a lot of Black people are on welfare because that's what the media actually portrays. But they know good and well that 43% of the people on welfare are white. They're not Black. They're not. Only 20, let me see, let me get this right. 27%, which is still a lot. I think like a third of the population, right? 27% is still a lot of Black people on welfare, but it's not the 44% of white recipients. But they will have you believe, people will have you believe that anytime someone messes with SNAP benefits or food stamps, they're going after Black people, which requires me to believe that all of us are on food stamps. Stop it. Stop it. It's not true. And I think the numbers of people on SNAP benefits is Black people on SNAP benefits is declining. Um, I'm pretty sure it is. Mm, Okay. I don't know if it's declining. Um, but anyway, that it doesn't matter. The point is that we should not be attaching ourselves to programs, number one, that have negative negative connotations, and a stigma. And we should not be automatically assuming that when someone talks about food stamps, they're talking about us. Now, I don't know this man from Adam, pun intended, right? I don't know if he's racist, but I don't know that this is the thing that I would be using to prove that point. I don't know that this is what I'd be using to prove that point. It could be, it very well could be that he also had, because people do abuse food stamps. I remember we had people living with us, and my parents would say, "Don't tell people we have that," because they want to, they want to use them. They want to steal it. They want to take it. So people do abuse it, and they use it, and they do exactly what he's talking about. They use the change, and they buy alcohol and cigarettes and other, or they use it to buy dope, because they once you get your food stamp change, then you know, you have your change to buy. They used to. Now, I don't know how they're conning the system now. I'd be curious how they're actually conning the system now. But since it's a debit card, it's not like you're getting physical change back. It just takes the balance off the card. So, yeah. Um, to conclude, do I think that we need to promote healthy eating? Yes. Do I think that t- forcing people to use their benefits a certain way is the way to do it? No. I think that if you're going to receive SNAP benefits, you should be required to watch an informational video and take a quiz at the end about healthy eating and the benefits of healthy eating for children, adults, the effect on diabetes, the effect on cholesterol, effect on mood, attention, sleep. It's a training program. And then you can do whatever you want with it. But at least we can say we educated you. Because us being like, you can't do that without educating people is, it doesn't sit well with me. All right, you guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that we should, just let people use their SNAP benefits freely without any education? Do you think we should just ban it completely and people need to figure it out on their own? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.